What people eat influences multiple aspects of their well-being. Not eating meat is a popular dietary choice and may offer several health benefits. However, researchers are still seeking to understand the potential risk of following a vegetarian diet. A recent study in the United Kingdom explained the risk for hip fractures among people who ate meat, pescatarians and vegetarians. The results of the study showed that both men and women who followed a vegetarian diet were at a higher risk for hip fractures. This was partly related to the lower body mass index among participants who followed a vegetarian diet. So today's story is all about the vegetarian diet and your bone health. I am Amit Deshpande and you are with Star Health. In a few moments from now, I will present you a critical evaluation investigating how vegetarian diet is linked to increased hip fractures. So stay tuned and watch till the end. This prospective cohort study included over 4 lakh participants. Research used data from the UK Biobank, which includes individuals from England, Scotland and Wales, ages 40 to 69 years. Researchers looked at risk of hip fractures following up with participants for an average of 12 and a half years later. They excluded participants based on specific criteria, including if they had a previous hip fracture or osteoporosis history. Based on food frequency questionnaires, researchers divided participants into 4 key groups. Regular meat eaters. These participants reported eating meat 5 or more times weekly. Occasional meat eaters. These participants ate meat less than 5 times each week. Pescatarians. These participants ate fish but otherwise did not eat meat. Vegetarians. These participants all ate no meat. However, the group included those who ate dairy or eggs and those who did not eat eggs or dairy, that is vegans. Researchers chose to combine the vegan and vegetarian groups because only a few participants were vegan. Researchers accounted for many co-founders, including the participants' sex, ethnicity, regular use of nutritional supplements, activity levels, smoking status, and alcohol consumption. Then they look at the associated risk of hip fractures among these different nutrition groups. The findings indicated that people who followed a vegetarian diet were at a 50% higher risk of experiencing a hip fracture compared to meat eater groups and pescatarians. Now the big question is, why do vegetarians have a higher bone fracture risk? Researchers noted that some of this heightened risk might be explained by the lower body mass index of participants who followed a vegetarian diet. The authors speculated that a lower BMI could mean poor health of muscles and bones, reducing cushioning from impact forces during a fall from lack of fat. But most of the reasons for the risk association were unclear. The authors speculate the increased hip fracture could be related to lower level of protein and other key nutrients among vegetarians. It's well known that being at a slightly higher BMI is protective against risk of fractures from other studies. So this could be partially explained by differences in bone mass density. In this study, people who ate a vegetarian diet had on average a lower BMI than other diet groups. However, as the study shows, there are likely other factors to play a role too. Also, the vegetarian groups were less likely to reach their protein intake requirements than the other diet groups, with adequate protein intake essential for building and maintaining bone mass. This may also be intensified by poor intakes of other nutrients involved in bone health. Despite the higher risk for hip fracture among vegetarians, this doesn't mean people should avoid a vegetarian diet. Experts also say that vegetarians were at a 50% greater risk for hip fractures than regular meat eaters, regardless of sex. Lower BMI in vegetarians explains some of this risk difference. Importantly, 50% greater risk in vegetarians translated to 3 more hip fractures per 1,000 people over 10 years. Experts also claim that the health benefits of a vegetarian diet, including a lower risk of cancer and cardiovascular diseases, may therefore outweigh any increase in hip fracture risk. Additionally, since there was no difference in risk between occasional and regular meat eaters, reducing meat intake from the diet doesn't seem to affect hip fracture risk. So now the question is, how vegetarians can get all essential nutrients? People seeking to follow a vegetarian diet must understand how to incorporate key nutrients and what nutrients a vegetarian diet is most likely to lack. They may need to find alternative plant sources of nutrients that are more common in animal sources. For example, calcium may be harder for vegetarians to get if they don't consume dairy. There are some products fortified with calcium like certain cereals or orange juice. Plant options like broccoli, almonds or white beans can also provide calcium. Vegetarian diets can also lack vitamin B12. Vegetarians who allow for dairy products can find dairy sources of vitamin B12 such as milk or cheese. Strict vegans may need to consume fortified food like nutritional yeast to make their vitamin B12 requirements. Vegetarians can speak with their doctor or registered dietitian to ensure that they are eating a balanced diet and meeting their nutritional requirements. Having a varied diet with plenty of plant proteins like beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, as well as dietary or supplementary sources of iron, vitamin B12 and vitamin D can help support having an optimum nutrition intake and for bone health. So the take home message is that vegetarian diet may increase your risk of getting a hip fracture, but you can mindfully add some essential nutrients to your vegetarian diet and enjoy other benefits of going vegan. And that brings us to the end of today's story about vegan diet and bone health. For more medical updates, please do subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching. Signing off for now and have a great day ahead. Thank you.